A grey day in Montreux on the shores of Lac Le Mans, Switzerland. Long the home of Belle Epoque expat Brits seeking a quiet life on the Riviera Vaudoise, today it plays host to an English rock band, Jethro Tull, who take advantage of the photo op to present a check from an earlier concert in Zurich. Whoops, there goes manager Terry Ellis getting in the way of the camera shot. Gathered around the fountain in the old town, the band realign themselves constantly and jostle gently for optimum position. Come on, make up your minds. From left to right, we've got Barry Barlow and Martin Barr, John Evans, Jeffrey Hammond, and Ian Anderson, looking like a bearded Alvin Stardust on a bad day. Whoops, a quick readjustment of positions here. Make up your mind, Mr. Photographer. How do you want us to stand? Jeffrey, normally the shy, retiring type, seems to constantly command the front center position. Look at those flares. They are faintly ridiculous. Well, what's the gold lame gent doing with a cigarette holder in the hands of a usually non-smoking bassist? Yeah, in those days some people just pretended to smoke. Bemused bystanders wonder if it must be a famous English pop group, the Bay City Rollers perhaps. I'm interviewed now to try and explain the reason for our visit and the nature of the donation. If you can lip read, just keep mum and don't tell. Love the medallion thing. Makes a man look tough, stylish, rakish, or just plain silly. Don't answer. The others look pretty bored, as well they might. And so it goes on and on and on, and the members of the band are kind of waiting to probably catch that plane back home. This is sort of going on a bit longer than we expected. You see, we'd been in Montreux to record and rehearse doing the Passion Play album, and during that period of time, everybody was so helpful to us, and we felt genuinely moved by the invitational nature of the locals and the offer of becoming Swiss citizens. Suddenly there appears, right next to Barry Barlow, the mustachioed Claude Nobbs, founder of the Montreux Jazz Festival and mentor to Jethro Tull in their sad and pathetic attempt to win non-domiciled tax status back in the UK and become Swiss citizens. All to save a few lousy shekels in income tax. Claude's moustache puts ours to shame. Claude, who passed away in 2013, had long been a friend and inspiration to many artists visiting Montreux. He never tired of promoting the delights of Montreux, the jazz festival, the mountains, the steep-sided valleys of his home country. We all miss him, and even today when I visit Montreux, I half expect to see him outside the Montreux Palace Hotel or walking along the Grand Rue. We watched Claude give his side of the story, pointing out what an honourable bunch of Brits we are, returning to make this donation between all of our tours in far-off lands. So we never did take up the Swiss residency. We were in France at the time recording the precursor to Passion Play, the Chateau Disaster tapes as they became known. Didn't go too well, and at the end of all of that we decided time to head back to England and go into the recording studio that we'd always worked in for quite a few years and start again afresh with what really became a Passion Play. And so we never were non-residents. We paid our tax like good boys, all 83% of it, 98% on unearned income back then. So it did scare off a lot of people of our sort, but we did the right thing and went home to hand over the loot again. Martin Barr gets to say a few words here, and something must have upset him because he's off, leaving it to the bashful John Evans in the fabulous rainbow suit to try and think of something sensible to say. And Barry there, he's got his little scarf on and his funny hat, and he's busy chewing. Another fella trying to give up smoking, but from the plume rising beside him, I think rather unsuccessfully. Okay, it's back to me, and let's just wind this thing up and get out of here and go on to do the actual check presentation. So here we are at last. We're in the official press conference to do exactly what it says on the big poster behind us and bestow the financial means to provide a special music room for the young people of Montreux in memory of our stay in the town back in 1972, and also to tell the world what Jethro Tull will be doing in 1974. Yep, looks like we've actually got enough people here to get on with it. Press and photographers gather, the cigarettes are puffing, and they marvel at the fact we've long since returned to the UK to pay our taxes and remain UK citizens, but have come back to make good our promise anyway, to repay the warm welcome shown to us by the good people of Montreux and the Canton of Vaud, which granted our residency permits a couple of years before. Oh, there we're giving Claude Nobbs a special round of applause for being an all-round good chap. Right, down to business. Terry Ellis is announcing, rather obviously, that contrary to rumours, Jethro Tull have not split up. We're as busy as ever. So here I am with my serious face explaining that we're planning to make a feature-length film called War Child, a musical in fact, with classical ballet sequences and so on, and the lyrics of the music largely taking place of dialogue. The story would be based on an allegorical fantasy written by me about a possible heaven and hell situation, and would feature actors playing the parts of God and the devil. I remember that I did have to explain that, no, I would not be playing the part of God. Or the devil. At that time, we were still looking for a director and, crucially, for funding. Ah, well, the best laid plans of mice and men. If Geoffrey's cigarette holder had been any longer, he would have been smoking in a nearby country. He wouldn't need Swiss residency anyway. I then went on to explain that we had been planning for at least 2 years to use a movie as a vehicle for exploring some of the subtleties that get lost just playing concerts in great big halls and arenas. As I said to the people there, you gentlemen of the press tend sometimes to have places quite close to the stage, but to most of the audience we'd look this big in the distance on a big stage. Oh, I do like it when I say something funny. Always makes Martin Barr laugh. We wanted to show the world what Martin really looked like, and what better way to do it than in a movie. Next, I revealed that Jethro Tull had been recording 2 albums in London. One was a group rock album, the other was a sort of soundtrack for the planned film. And the journalists seem at least partly enthused, but they can't wait, really, to get at the booze and the sandwiches, which are the main reason, let's face it, why they've come to this press conference in the first place. Judging by the looks on the faces of the journos, this is the bit where I started moaning about the lack of constructive criticism in modern music journalism and the lazy reactions to a passion play, and where I pronounced that structured music such as ours, with lyrics of some depth, ought to require the same effort from the listener as it does from the musician who plays it. Oh dear. Let's get to the sandwiches, quick. Well, we all get to mill around a little bit now and sample those sandwiches and the glass of white wine, whilst others just keep puffing on their cigarettes. Don't be bashful, journalists. Have a little sarnie. Have a little sip. Lighten up, for goodness sake. Yeah. Barry doesn't think much of the sandwiches. Well, there's a wonderful back view of Claude's very well coiffured hair. Gosh, it was good. He was actually a curly-haired chap, Claude, and at this point he must have had the straightened hair look. trying to compete with those sexy young English rock bands. Well, we wheeled in some of the local dignitaries there. They're gathering, waiting to do the formal check handing over ceremony. And, well, John Evans got the old Peterson pipe going at last. I thought we were going to see that sooner or later. We huffed and we puffed and we smoked our Peterson's pipes until we were sick as dogs. Claude is gently explaining to the gentleman who's going to receive the cheque and his other friends, who are probably also going to get their grubby hands on it too in a couple of minutes, just explaining what it's all about and probably apologising for our rather brave appearance and startling outfits. Just look at it this way, guys. We're actually a lot more scary when we're on stage doing a concert. Here, we're all rather tame and innocent and relatively harmless. Relatively. The photographers gather, their cameras raised, as if sensing that the actual handing over of the cheque is about to happen any minute, and not a minute too soon. Smacking the microphone for a little kind of audio cue, but we strangely don't seem to have any audio apart from me droning on now. Oh, poor old John Evans, he nearly dropped off then, getting a little bit tired of all of this. Okay, another audio sync moment. And Claude has finally produced the offending piece of paper. No, John, you can't have it. Well, we finally hand over that cheque to the Deputy Mayor of Montreux, who seems ecstatic to have actually got his hands on it now. Those of you who can lip read will know that I said, "From the group to you and the young people of Montreux. Don't spend it all at once." A real cheque or just a used British Airways boarding pass with the address and phone number written on it, perhaps of a rather dishy member of the flight crew. And you suited gent, can probably make a little phone call later and see who's there. "Hello, I'm Nigel, fly me." The band are looking a little pensive and maybe they're beginning to regret their generosity. We offer up a firm handshake and, oops, the photographers missed that, so being the pro that I am, we'll do this again and make sure we look at the cameras this time. Yes, you got the hang of it? One gloved black hand is pointing at the cheque. The other has been carefully taken off so we can press the flesh with Mr. Suit. His friends are looking on, obviously bodyguards or mafioso types. Oh no, he's passing it on to somebody else now. What's he going to do with it? Terry Ellis beams approvingly over the events and shortly will whip us back to London for tea and scones, a quick walk in Hyde Park and right into the clutches of the Inland Revenue. Put a brave face on it, Geoffrey.
your back's to the wall and your luck is your own, then side with whoever you may. Seek that which within lies waiting to begin the fight of your life that is every day. Dance with the war child, hurrah! Dance with the war child, hurrah! War child, dance the days and nights away. Sweet child, how do you do today? War child, dance the days and nights away. Sweet child, how do you do today? War child, dance the days and nights away. Sweet child, how do you do today? War child, dance the days and nights away. Sweet child, how do you do today? In the heart of your heart, at the tiniest part of a nurse will live to the death. With your sword on your hip and a cross